Okay, I haven't planned anything to say, but I just want to say that if you have relapsed in anything or you feel as though you've just been messing up a lot recently or over the past few weeks or months or years, that check what part of yourself you're identifying with. I feel like a lot of my failures, a lot of the times where I would procrastinate or relapse in anything, you know, just ignore the higher self or the higher part of myself that I know is capable of doing certain things. I realized that I was always labeling myself with these just negative connotations. Oh, you're lazy because you failed that exam 3 years ago, or you'll never be athletic, sorry, or you'll never have abs, or you'll never be good looking because you got bullied 10 years ago. You got bullied for this, that people have said your genetics aren't good. Labeling yourself and almost hardening these labels into statues of truth in your mind is possibly one of the most damaging things you can do, because when you tell your brain something, it really just does not know what is the truth and what is not the truth. And you're essentially speaking your own downfall into existence. And I noticed that I've been doing that a lot. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I haven't been lazy. I'm not saying that, I'm not blaming my procrastination or my failures or my downfall on just simple labels. But I feel like a lot of the times where I have broken good habits or where I have reintroduced bad habits was simply just because I just told myself that I was a loser. And I don't really know why I did that. It's something that I think a lot of people do, especially now. I'm 20 years old. I'm going to be turning 21 in like 2 months. And to me, I always have that feeling in the back of my mind that you see these 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 15-year-olds, they're making like 10K a month, 20K a month, and they're flexing their wealth online, they're flexing their lifestyle online. And, I always see that on a day-to-day, because I do unfortunately consume a lot of social media, which is something I'm trying not to do as well. But whenever I see that, I just instantly compare myself, and I ask myself, why am I not like that? And slowly and surely, these negative thoughts begin to creep into your mind. The more you watch that every single day, you begin labeling yourself as someone who's behind, who is not a goal-getter, who just is not operating to the level they should be for a certain age, which I think is just so silly, because you are essentially just seeing time as something that should give you success, right? Oh, you're 20 years old. Where is your business? Where is your online coaching program and your 100,000 followers? When in reality, that's just not how things work, and that's not how things were meant to ever work. Your age is not going to dictate whether or not you're successful or anything like that. There are plenty of people who reap the rewards of their hard work at 30, at 40, at 50. Some people who don't realize their success and their strengths until they're 40, and then they immediately make it when they're 45. And I just think with all the rush that's going on in social media, I'm not telling people to not work hard at the age of 18 straight away, at the age of 16. What I am saying is just stop labeling yourself. Stop this constant pressure. Stop, regurgitating the same negative thoughts over and over and over again. If you've been on your phone first thing in the morning, you've been scrolling on TikTok for too long, you haven't done your assignment when you should have, maybe you failed an exam, you didn't go to the gym for the past week, just relax. That is not who you are as a person. That is just a lower part of yourself that you just kind of let creep through momentarily, that you can easily fix. You can easily fix these things. Don't let these things become, again, like I said, permanent statues in your mind. I like saying that because, it's just not healthy. It's really not healthy. And I hate these like really hard acting, alpha male motivators and self-talk, self-improvement speakers who say that, you're lazy if you don't go to the gym, you're lazy if you don't do this, there's no excuses. There's no excuses, but, there's also no need to be so harsh on yourself. I've never really seen many people who have been so negative and speak negative towards themselves who actually have had longevity in terms of success. All of the people that I know that maintain that amazing physique or that really and truly just had any sustainable growth in all verticals of life, always had a positive growth mindset and a positive way of speaking to themselves to the point where no failure felt permanent and there's no such thing as a loss, only a learning lesson, right? You either win or you learn. That's the famous saying. So I just want you guys to know, have a growth mindset. Stop these labels, stop all of that, stop negative talk, because you would never let someone speak to you the way that you speak to yourself. And it truly does matter. Like, don't allow yourself to speak to yourself like that. Things will get better if you do adopt these positive just ways of speaking to yourself. It does matter a lot. That's all I really have to say. I know I've been rambling and I probably repeated a bunch of things. And again, I'm 20, I'm kind of a loser. See, I shouldn't even say that. But I don't really know much, but I'm trying to improve. I haven't been very productive this first month of 2026, but I'm really trying to be better and just remind myself that I can be who I want to be. I can completely rewire myself, and that tomorrow I can just start as a completely new person and ignore what everyone else says. You know, if somebody says, hey, weren't you just playing games for a few hours and maybe being quite counterproductive? Well, I can say yes, but that was me yesterday, you know? So that's all I have to say. Take care and peace.